All right, folks, here we go. 11. Buddha was fat. Let's clear something up. Buddha wasn't the chubby statue you see at restaurants. That's Budai, a different guy from Chinese folklore known as the Laughing Buddha. The real Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, lived in India around 500 BC and practiced intense fasting and meditation. He was lean, almost emaciated, not round and jolly. So why the mix-up? Well, Budai represented happiness and abundance. So Chinese Buddhists used his image for good vibes. Over time, Westerners confused the two and thought the Laughing Buddha was the Buddha. It's kind of like thinking Santa and Jesus are the same guy just because they show up in December. If you want accuracy, remember, real Buddha was more spiritual monk, less cuddly mascot. 10. Cleopatra was Egyptian. Nope. Cleopatra wasn't Egyptian, she was Greek. She came from the Ptolemaic dynasty, which ruled Egypt after Alexander the Great swooped in from Macedonia like the ancient world's Elon Musk. Her ancestors were all Greek royals who barely bothered to say hi in Egyptian. In fact, Cleopatra was the first in her family to learn the local language. The whole Cleopatra Egyptian queen image was boosted in modern times by Hollywood, especially Elizabeth Taylor's famous portrayal. Even coins from her era show her with sharp Greek features. So yeah, she was a Greek running an Egyptian empire, kind of like someone managing a sushi restaurant with zero idea how to make rice. 9. Chameleons change color to blend in. Wrong. Chameleons are not camouflage ninjas, they're drama queens. Their color changes are all about mood, temperature, light, and social signals, not hiding from predators. Scientists discovered that special nanocrystals in their skin rearrange to reflect different wavelengths of light, creating those flashy shifts. So when a chameleon turns bright red, it's not hiding, it's mad, or horny, or cold, or all three. Basically, they're walking emotion meters. Some even change color to flirt or fight, not fade into the background. That urban myth? Totally busted. Next time someone says chameleons disappear like magic, hit them with a science fact and maybe a tongue flick. 8. Iron Maidens were real medieval torture devices. They weren't. That spiky coffin of doom we all fear, never actually used during medieval times. Historians now believe it was fabricated in the 18th or 19th century, when creepy museum owners were trying to draw crowds with shock value. There's no record of real torture via Iron Maidens in the Middle Ages. None. Even the most infamous one, the Iron Maiden of Nuremberg, showed up in the 1800s, long after medieval torturers retired. It's like the clickbait of the Enlightenment.
Come see where they stabbed sinners to death with a coffin!
But really, it was theater, not fact. If anything, medieval punishments were more about humiliation than horror props. Fun twist? The band Iron Maiden probably helped keep the myth alive longer than actual historians. 7. The Colosseum was a death arena for Christians. Not really. While early Christians were persecuted under Roman rule, the image of them being mass slaughtered in the Colosseum is mostly overblown. There's little concrete evidence they were systematically martyred there. Much of this narrative came from Christian writers centuries later, trying to highlight the cruelty of Rome. Real Roman records? Silent on mass Christian killings in the arena. Most executions were public and brutal, but not exclusive to Christians. Plus, Rome had other venues for public punishment, so blaming the Colosseum as a holy bloodbath, that's like blaming every stadium for one bad football game. It became symbolic over time, especially once Christianity rose to power. A few tales turned into cinematic legend, but in truth, a whole lot more lions. A whole lot fewer saints. 6. Einstein failed math. Nope, Einstein didn't fail math. He aced it. This myth started because someone misunderstood the Swiss grading system, where a 6 is the highest score and 1 the lowest. Einstein had a 6, not failing, he was flexing. He was doing calculus at age 12, and by 15 he was solving college-level problems. So no, your C in geometry doesn't make you the next Einstein. He even responded to this rumor himself in a 1935 newspaper saying,
"Before I was 15, I had mastered differential and integral calculus."
So where did it come from? Lazy memes and motivational posters, probably from someone who actually failed math. 5. Marie Antoinette said, "Let them eat cake." She never said that. The quote actually comes from Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and he wrote it when Marie Antoinette was just 9 years old. Even then, he didn't name her. It was a generic great princess. The actual phrase was about brioche, a rich bread, not dessert cake, and even that was meant to show disconnect, not cruelty. There's no record of her saying anything like it, but the French Revolution needed a villain, and boom, she became the face of rich girl ignorance. Marie was known to give to charity and was more politically aware than most credit her. Still got her head chopped off, though, because PR is everything. 4. Salting the earth was a Roman punishment. You've heard the line, Rome defeats Carthage, burns it to the ground, and salts the earth so nothing ever grows again. Sounds brutal, but historians say there's no ancient source confirming it. It's more likely a symbolic idea invented later by writers who loved drama. Salt was expensive. Romans wouldn't waste it on spite gardening. Plus, Roman military documents mention burning and looting, but not seasoning. The idea of salting the earth became a metaphor for utter destruction, not a recorded practice. Even in medieval times, the phrase was used poetically. So yeah, Carthage was crushed, but not marinated in spite like a petty chef with a grudge. 3. The Library of Alexandria was burned down in one night. This one's a tragic exaggeration. The Library of Alexandria did burn, but not all at once. It was damaged over centuries thanks to Julius Caesar, religious fanatics, political chaos, and neglect. Caesar's troops set fire to part of the city in 48 BC. That fire spread, but historians believe only some scrolls were destroyed. Later damage came during Christian and Muslim rule, often as collateral damage or targeted purges. It wasn't one dramatic blaze lighting up the night sky. It was a slow-motion collapse, piece by piece, over centuries. The real tragedy? No one ever thought, hey, maybe we should copy these scrolls, just in case. 2. George Washington had wooden teeth. Nope, no lumber in sight. George Washington's dentures were a weird mix of ivory, human teeth, horse teeth, and gold. The wooden part came from stained ivory that looked like grainy wood over time. It wasn't splinters, it was centuries of bad storytelling. His dentures weren't just uncomfortable, they were a dental nightmare. Washington often complained they made his jaw look odd and his lips puff out like he was mid-sneeze. He went through several painful sets and paid a hefty price for each one. And yes, at least one of his dentures included 9 teeth bought from enslaved people. Not exactly a heroic dental legacy, but here's a lesser-known fact. Washington ran one of the most successful distilleries in America after retiring. In 1799, Mount Vernon produced nearly 11,000 gallons of whiskey. So if you ever wanted to toast the first president, technically you still can, with his own brand. 1. Humans used to think the earth was flat. Nope. Ancient Greeks figured out the earth was round way before Columbus. In 240 BC, Eratosthenes calculated the earth's circumference using sticks and shadows, and he was impressively close. In medieval Europe, most educated people also knew the earth was spherical. The flat earth myth became popular in the 1800s, pushed by writers who wanted to paint the Middle Ages as dumb and religiously blind. Ironically, today's flat earthers are more dedicated than anyone in medieval times. So if someone says Columbus proved the earth was round, just remind them. The Greeks beat him by 1,700 years with no ships, no satellites, just pure brain power. Okay, so use this knowledge responsibly or irresponsibly, preferably at family dinners to win arguments. Hit that subscribe button. It's free, it gives us false hope, and it keeps useless from joining a pyramid scheme about ancient aliens. See you in the next one, nerds.